Welcome back, everyone. After this rather long break, we are finally almost ready for liftoff. We are delayed further than the time we told you. That's because we got word from on site that one of the players was late to the playoffs. So everyone waited for that. But 2 minutes from now is when the game should start. We see a smiling Mishra. He must be feeling great, Hammer, after surviving that classical game.
I mean, he's probably feeling good that he survived, but he's been playing some really bad chess so far in this match. He made two enormous mistakes, in my opinion, in the classical game. If he continues that level of play in the Blitz, I think it should be smooth sailing for Hikaru. But the thing is, in Blitz, 3 minutes, one little mistake, and it ruins everything. Anything can happen with this low time control.
Yeah, let's see what we're gonna get now in terms of the format is 2 Blitz games of 3+2. If after those 2 games the players are still tied, we will get 2 more games of Blitz. And if they are still tied after that, that's when we go to Armageddon, where white will start with an extra minute. It will be 3 versus 2 again, but with a 2-second increment from the start. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, Hammer. But
If we get there.
if I guess at some point in the tournament, some match is gonna go to Armageddon. I refuse to believe that we're not gonna see any, which is a very unusual time control one that I've never seen Armageddon with the increment from the start. But yeah, hopefully we don't get there in this match. Fingers crossed, Hikaru just wraps it up in the first two Blitz games. He's starting with white, the Blitz match. Again, do you think we'll see a repeat of yesterday's opening? I say as I try and remind myself what it was. It was D4, yeah?
It was a Catalan that
Catalan,
became prolonged.
yeah.
I do not think that's going to happen now. In Blitz games, Hikaru has been pretty true to his B3 Larson's opening. I think also varying will make Mishra think at an earlier stage from the game. No, he goes for the Reti opening, early Fianchetto. So he goes in kind of a... It's kind of like a Catalan, just a Catalan without putting the pawns in the center of the board. And now he's playing the Larson. So he does go for the double fianchetto, both bishops pointing in towards the center of the board. Mishra doesn't stop at any point in this opening to think and does make an advance in the center of the board. I remember actually analyzing this exact opening for the 2013 World Championship match. Carlsen
And
versus
what were your
Anand.
conclusions, Hammer?
I think we were following some analysis by one of the members of the team, Pavel Elyanov. He had some faith in this system for white, and I think we concluded that it was okay for white. Yes.
That's encouraging for sure. Rook BH is played by Mishra. How do we complete the development? The knight, I can only go either to A3 or to D2. Goes to A3.
I remember Elyanov being very much all about this knight making its way to the C2 square, trying to attack the pawn on D4, but also facilitating a potential advance of the queenside pawns, which we may see here as well. Also, knight to E5 is a typical move in these variations. To try and open up for the bishop on the diagonal, although that is less effective here now that the rook has already evacuated from the diagonal.
Quick look at the clocks. Hikaru up 30 seconds already. That has to be positive. Bishop C5, a natural move, and knight C2, as you said, dropping back and putting pressure on the pawn on D4. Are we going to play D3 or is black going to play D3?
I think we're going to play D3 as white. And right now, it's important to avoid this pawn advance on the queen side. Okay, maybe it wasn't that important to avoid the pawn advance. So basically, Mishra, he got his rook out of this diagonal so that he could later on get his bishop in position to counter White's bishop. Seems fair so far. One of the good things for White in this position is that the long-term ability of pushing this pawn forward is pretty strong. And Hikaru is going to display that here using his rook to support that pawn advance moving forward.
So you're saying the bishop is gonna drop back probably to A1, right? To keep
Well,
an eye, or?
actually, the bishop might drop to the C1 square, partly because then you can go over here and start attacking the rook, but also because you can then go to the D2 square and try help out, push the pawn forward if you need more assistance in that.
That is exactly what we get. The question is, we have a clear plan now. What is Black's plan?
Yeah, no, Black's position right now is very uncomfortable. Hikaru has a clear plan of action. He basically allowed the black pawn to advance in the center, but now he's starting the counterattack against these pawns. And he is doing that counterattack by progressing his pawns on the queen side here. Bishop to g5, very natural move now for Hikaru. He's going to be attacking in particular these light squares in the center of the board. He's going to move the bishop up. He's going to make the trade for the knight. The knight was protecting these two squares, but with the knight eliminated, the white knight is then going to move away to d2, and you're going to get a bishop moving into this d5 square. And the knight coming in, maybe the queen up to h5. White's position is playing itself at this moment, which is so good for a blitz game. And it shows also on the clock with Hikaru having more than 1 minute time advantage. He has a fantastic position here and the ability to decide the game in his favor.
Yeah, Hikaru's play piece is all beautiful. You talked about the bishop on g2. Mishra drops the queen back, stepping out maybe of the tempo of knight e4, but also looking, well, not just looking at the pawn, attacking the pawn actually on b4. So do we have to push the pawn?
Yeah, I think we should push this pawn. Engine says that we can win a pawn by capturing the black knight and then capturing in the center, exploiting the fact that our rook is placed on the same file as
I'm getting
the
a bit
queen.
of PTSD giving up that light squared bishop hammer.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. And Hikaru doesn't do that either. He does go with the pawn forward. No need to give away a bishop. That would give black a bishop pointing in down towards our king. Instead, we're going to go for the trade of bishops here, and then I guess knight forward in the center. Good play by Mishra playing knight to b4. He's trying to facilitate this trade so that he afterwards can trade the bishop for the knight. We would really like to prefer getting out of all of these trades with our knight still on the board.
Let's see, Hikaru, I feel like is thinking a little bit for the first time in this game. He's captured on b7. So are you taking back on b7 or d2? Goes for taking on d2. And now we get a pure rooks and queen ending where Hikaru is still better, obviously. We have a target on e5. We have a majority on the queen side. What's the plan of action? Are we going to use...
no, it was a big success for Mishra to trade off the bishop working on the dark squares. Look at how all of these black pawns were on dark squares. The fact that Mishra managed to trade off that bishop was a huge success for him.
But we still, although the computer has now gone back to thinking this is just completely equal. Oh,
still a time advantage for Hikaru, though.
E4, probably an important pawn break.
It's unpleasant for Hikaru now because if he doesn't take this pawn, then the pawn will just continue moving into his side of the board. However, if the trade happens, now queen takes should be a fairly easy draw.
Let's see, what is Mishra gonna do? It takes with the rook.
Okay, Engine liked that better, but it means that with computer perfect play, queen takes would have been a draw, but you would have been down a pawn in a rook endgame, and considering how he's low on time, he probably wanted to avoid that. Mishra.
Which makes sense, I think, from a human perspective. We see both players push their H-pawns, and Mishra taking the E-file. We need to be a little bit careful now, Rookie 2. Okay, are we gonna get a repetition hammer? What do you think?
No, I think Hikaru needs to... Ooh, he can't really afford to allow the rook trade. Queen D1 maybe from Hikaru. I want to get this queen to some of these light squares, but if queen up, then the rook trade is quite good for black, who can then seek out a queen trade afterwards. So I think...
Hey, he plays on, but it's this way, with stepping the king to H2.
Oh no, he blundered the pawn. Mishra put his queen pointing down at the white king, and Hikaru just didn't realize the threat in the position. Now Hikaru is in big trouble here. He's down a pawn for, well, no good reason, really. And not only is he down a pawn, the black pawn is advancing on the side of the board, trying to take out the defenses around the white king. Ooh, Hikaru now gets to capture in the center. Ooh, this white king is in loads of trouble right now. But mistakes are being made on both sides. Hikaru now going for the queen trade. Queen trade not good, apparently.
Take the
only good move is king takes pawn, but the king approaching the opponent, not a great sign. Hikaru made a losing move, but he got a trick in. Hikaru now is going to make the draw, maybe. Hikaru's down a pawn. He was losing at several moments there. Yeah, it's going to be a draw. Queen c6. That's a nice play from Hikaru. He's going to give checks on the king, and the queen can never intercept without losing the pawn. What a game. That was a couple of rough moments there. Hikaru definitely had the advantage out of the opening. He had some pressure. Oh no, it's not over.
It's not over yet.
Ooh, well done by Abhimanyu, getting his king over to that area of the board. I'm not sure it's super helpful though. Oh, queen c7. Hikaru couldn't take the pawn because then... Oh, and no, the queen trade. It's over. Hikaru resigns. That was so impressive by Abhimanyu. He, at a point where I just assumed that Hikaru was easily going to make a draw because the queen was stuck defending these black pawns, somehow he manages to escape with his king over to the other side of the board. And then this queen c7 move was brilliant because the pawn was not undefended, or rather it was indirectly defended because of the checkmate threat against the king. And even here, the position was objectively a draw, but now it's super difficult for Hikaru, and he makes a mistake, putting his queen and king on the same diagonal, allowing Mishra to go for the trade.
What a devastating first game. Hikaru now in a must-win situation with the black pieces.
I think, yeah, somehow this position looked super promising, but I think knight to b4 was fantastic from Mishra. And he somehow managed to trade this bishop that was normally being blocked by its own pawns. He managed to get that bishop up and trade it for the white knight. And that was a big part of how he managed to survive that pressure. But they're starting again.
Mishra is he's a tough player. I don't know if you were watching the camera in the final moments of the game. I have to say I would find it very tough to play him. Did you see the camera, the final moments?
I saw he like very firmly was like, oh, I got you now.
With the final move, right? That was a bit of a banger of a move, and then the little celebration at the board. He's very young, of course, and it's a huge win for him. But even when he sat down at the board there, he was so hype and like but okay, Hikaru, like you have to see past these things. Everyone, at the end of the day, it's just etiquette and maybe my personal opinion. But yeah, in the new game starting momentarily, let's just let you guys know what happened elsewhere. Wesley So against Dominguez was a draw. Fabi against Ray Robson was a draw, and Sam Sevian beat Levon Aronian. So Levon and Hikaru in must-win situations in this next game in order to stay alive, not in the tournament, but in the winners bracket.
Hikaru could probably benefit from sticking his head in a bucket of ice right now. He still hasn't let go of that previous game. And I mean, I don't really blame him. It's very difficult to forget what happened 3 minutes ago.
What do you think he should do in this game?
Just play. I mean, I think he was outplaying Mishra in the opening there. And he also had a huge time advantage. He did everything right other than blunder that pawn on the edge of the board. And after that pawn blunder, it really just shook Hikaru. Here we are off the modern defense from Hikaru. Wants to play a very expansive double fianchetto. This is known as Tiger's Modern. So previously
and we
today,
seen Hikaru play this before, right?
Yeah. Previously today, Hikaru played the dragon. Now he's playing the tiger.
Nicely done, Hammer. Okay, so what kind of game is this going to be? Tell us a little bit. White castling queenside, the intentions there are clear.
Yeah, no, this is just Hikaru playing something very risky, keeping his king in the center of the board, but trying to launch an attack against the white king. This is the kind of thing that either works brilliantly or goes down in flame. Not a lot of middle ground here. But to me, it looks good for Hikaru so far.
How do you, one of the things I guess we'll see is I've always find it hard how to continue the attack on the queen side here as black. So
I'm kind of nervous about Hikaru allowing
E5.
this pawn to e5 move. I'm not sure I like developing this knight.
It got a green star though.
Yeah, but that was kind of strange. Hikaru now immediately moves his other knight out of the way. I was scared about this move, attacking the knight, and if takes, it opens up for the queen and rook through the center. Would have been a disaster. Mishra instead pushes forward on the side of the board, but then Hikaru has his knight here with some pressure in towards the center potentially.
I don't think this was a real question mark move. I don't think it should worry us too much. The situation hasn't changed much. Wow, here comes c5.
Okay, Hikaru has some central influence. The question is, how is he going to deal with the pawn advances on the queen side? Not a massive concern, it seems. The rook should come in now. And so long as things are not getting traded, I feel like Hikaru's position is pretty decent.
Also, as long as we can maintain that 1 minute edge on the clock. Rook c8 looks...
Rook c8, queen c7, b4. One of these moves feels right. Hikaru always has to be a bit nervous about these pawn advances, but I don't really see them doing anything at this moment.
Queen c7.
Seems good to me. I'm looking at the computer's recommended line, which is thoroughly unimpressive on White's behalf. I have no idea why the engine is so positive.
We can very quickly show it. We have the live boards. Oh, well, it's just been played, so maybe we'll see it unfold.
Yeah, because now the engine is recommending knight f2, but then I really like bishop e5 for Hikaru. Knight f4, a much better move in my opinion. Oh no, that's a much, much better move.
Are we just gonna get, white is gonna get a lot of trades.
So now if takes, pawn forward, forks. But the problem is, even after the fork, white gets in with the rook to attack both the bishop and the knight. This is the key issue. And Hikaru's trying his best. He goes for the trade in the center, castles. But this isn't what he wanted.
Okay, at
Now
least
Mishra is going to
he's
get
alive.
another trade.
Yeah, he is gonna get another trade. What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, both kings are now on the same side. Like the unbalance of the position is gone that we were looking for.
Yeah,
Why
and
is
in addition, there are some ideas of pawn to a4 here. Pawn to a4 has been played. If Hikaru captures this one, suddenly it's black's king that's under attack. Big problems here for Hikaru.
Yeah, with actually a4 was met with a smile by Hikaru, but a smile that said, "Oh God, this as well."
Hikaru's staying alive for the moment, but queen b4 is a very powerful shot to continue the pressure against this king. Played. Yeah, that's such a good move. Such a good move. Crisis on multiple fronts now for Hikaru. Maybe you could go rook here. Okay, there's a potential trap here. Queen up is a very tempting move for Mishra, but if the queen moves forward, then Hikaru can create a situation where you have to accept a queen trade, which means that the black king will not be in so much trouble anymore. And he does play queen a5. Okay, Hikaru's back in the game. Hikaru's back in the game.
Okay, we're back. It's not a fun one considering we have to win. Rook h4, another. I mean, Mishra is playing really, really well. How do we?
Well, we have to go after this white pawn, but the problem is he can always come in and defend. Maybe we can get the king up, but the problem is in the next two moves, white is gonna surround this h5 pawn. Hikaru tries to just get pieces over here to defend. Now bring the king, maybe?
Where is the knight from e8? Where do you want to bring that? Wait and see.
Well, it's going to g7 to protect the pawn.
What am I saying? Sorry. Yeah, so king b6. Okay, it goes to g7 immediately, and I guess now king b... Oh, no, wait. Can we go rook h7 and try and hold on?
I mean, you can. It's just a bit depressing. Oh, he just blundered the pawn in the middle. Oh, no. And he shakes his head. Oh, and the nice follow-up also from Mishra, forcing this trade, sacrificing his bishop, but only temporarily. That would also open up for the rook along the fourth rank.
This is really hard to watch.
Yeah, everything is collapsing right now. Very, very well done by Mishra in the Blitz. Did he play the World Blitz and Rapid Championship?
I don't know.
He, based on this performance, he really should have. Beating Hikaru in this style is incredibly rare.
Yeah, I think the classical games he didn't play all that great. But in the Blitz, he's been super impressive.
Okay, Hikaru's actually making some threats now. The knight coming to c4, making... Oh, and the pawn cannot be captured because of a fork. Somehow Hikaru is still fighting. He's going for the fork on the... Oh, Hikaru has a pawn. And he bothers the fork. He bothers the fork. Hikaru is winning. We get more blitz. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Did you see the end of this game?
The
Like,
camera
literally,
was
Hikaru got up.
unreal.
Hikaru got up before Mishra had even resigned. Oh my.
It was the classic Ivanchuk bump up celebration pre-resignation. I want to see a YouTube video with the classic Ivanchuk clip next to Hikaru's.
I can't take it anymore, Hammer.
Wow. He just kept the game going. It looked completely hopeless at this point. Hikaru was down by, it felt like 2 pawns, but it was actually only 1. And the 1 pawn he managed, he made such an effort keeping this pawn alive on the king side. And that pawn ended up actually being the deciding factor.
Unbelievable.
And here, knight to f2 isn't even that dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the reason you try to avoid this knight check is because then black can make a draw. But you don't care about whether it ends up in a draw because you're happy just going back and forth here. But Mishra's instinct in a winning position was that, okay, I need to protect this pawn so that there's no repetition. But with the knight retreating, that allowed the pawn to advance. And suddenly this pawn was super dangerous. He immediately falters, trying to eliminate the dangerous pawn. But the fork comes in to decide the game.
That fork. Oh, here's the Ivanchuk.
Okay, and here, oh, Ivanchuk did have time to get back down, it must be said, before the handshake, but that was pretty similar.
Well played, Jaren. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Wesley So and Linnea Dominguez also continues after a 4th consecutive draw in their match. Fabiano Caruana is true after beating Ray Robson in game 4, and Sam Sevian is still playing. Let's go there.
Sevian needs a draw here. He's down a pawn, but all the pawns are on the same side of the board, which does massively increase the likelihood of a drawn result. Levon had a threat of checkmate there. But now the coordination in White's camp has been somewhat ruined. There's a trap. If knight takes pawn, that would be winning. Ooh, checkmate threat, another one. And now the queen and bishop are working against the f4 pawn. Levon says, I don't want to take it right now. I'll wait a move. And that seems like a good decision. Sevian loses on time.
So that match also continues to a second Blitz match. So only Fabi is done for the day. He moves on to the semifinals. Ray Robson is in the losers bracket. The women are done for today as Alice Lee wins both Blitz games against Nazi. So she is through. We never let you guys know, but Atusa's game earlier ended in a draw. So the women's...
Sorry, Amy Bear is saying, I was about to quit the stream. What an ending.
No.
Ending? What do you mean? We're just getting started.
Oh, Hammer, I can't. This is too much for me. I mean, this game, as big as an optimist as I am, I had actually given up on that game.
Me too.
Yeah, but you're not an optimist, so there's nothing
True.
surprising. Oh, dear me. I wonder how long a break they will give the players. What do you think? Couple
No,
minutes?
I mean, if they didn't have any break for the previous one, why would they have a break now?
Because
Makes
it
no
was a
sense.
rematch rather than a new match.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I think probably they'll start within a couple of minutes. I'm sure even the players want to get on. What too much for Fiona? All of this. Everything is too much. This entire match. I just feel like after the classical games, Hikaru really deserve. I mean, of course, we all team Hikaru here, but I feel it's losing this match would just be so, so terrible seeing how the two classical games
Yeah, he was
went.
so clearly better in the classical. So if he were to get wiped in the blitz, that would be so depressing.
Yeah. He
But
gets black
now,
again, it looks like. So it looks like for the second Blitz match, they reverse colors, which makes sense.
as it says in the rules, you have not read,
That I skimmed.
skimmed, sorry.
That actually makes sense, I think, to inverse colors.
I think it's also a good thing because now Hikaru can just be solid with black and just get that last white game.
I think we've talked about this with him before, right? Which color does he prefer to play first? And I think it was black, right? That he
I find it very strange that Magnus now prefers starting with the white pieces
Hmm.
because that has always been my preference. But I feel like a lot of players have said they definitely want to have black first so
Yeah.
that they have white in case the first game is a draw to kind of push. But the main thing for me to want to have white first is just that I don't want to lose the first game. So I need the white pieces to just calm my nerves a bit.
Different different strategies, different philosophies. I think Hikaru will be okay. First of all, he'll be happy to still be. What happened? Why is chat saying no? Oh, because he left it.
Oh, Hikaru's in chat. Time to retire. That's ominous.
I don't even see it. Yeah.
It's right beneath Desmond and Kickbot.
I'm skimming the chat hammer, but I'm not seeing it.
You need to work on your skimming skills.
Okay, what do we I mean, I literally control F'd it. Oh, there it is. From that comment, do we take that he won the match or that he actually
It could
lost?
mean anything because he had
Hmm.
such a bad day today. The fact that he didn't win the classical game, I think even if he won the blitz, it would be something he's still thinking about. So it feels to me like that's a comment he would make even if the blitz worked out in the end.
I think
But
he won the
we'll
match.
we'll we'll see. We'll see.
You know what I think? I think if he lost the match, he wouldn't come into the freaking chat. That's my main reasoning. Okay, we have an Italian game on the board.
And Hikaru does go for an early pawn move on the side. We've often seen him follow that up with a very, very aggressive pawn advance on the king side afterwards. But here he just sticks to the solid guns, moving the bishop out early. Pawn to b4. Is this normal? I've never seen this before.
Well, we have someone who's going to be able to tell us a little bit about this as he joins us for the commentary. Hikaru, Hamis said he's never seen this before. What can you tell us about the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, after the first game of the first splits match, I mean, the goal is to be solid, right? That's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like, yeah, I mean, of course, the first game was horrible. I got a huge advantage, I think, in the blitz game. I mean, I haven't looked obviously, but I think I got an advantage. And then, I mean, I should have made the draw, and I decided to lose instead. And the second game was a bit of a miracle, obviously, because I made like three or four just outright blunders, but. You know, I think as the saying goes, someone can't always get lucky. I mean, Mishra is incredibly lucky, and at least in both classical games. I mean, I think in a normal world, I would have won both those games. To be fair, he did defend quite well, but I mean, luck has to even out at some point, right? So that's the first thing. Now, for everybody who's watching and asking me why am I here, the fact is, the games are Blitz, right? So I can't remember Blitz games and do a recap without the games. So that's why I'm here. Okay.
Wait, are we now doing the Blitz recaps live?
No. What I'm saying is I'm saying that in chess.com events, the games aren't there. So even if I want to do the recap, I'm gonna have to it's gonna be very janky. Now, theoretically, I probably could do it and catch up, but I just don't care enough. I'm not trying to make the meme, but basically, like I don't care enough to try and start the recap now and then wait for the games to catch up and go from there. So
Okay, so
that's what I'm gonna say. Now, for everybody who's asking, I'm not gonna say anything more, okay? But
let's do commentary on the game then. What is your plan here? What is going on in the position?
Yeah, I mean, basically the plan is to play for D5. Like I said, after that first match, which was so topsy-turvy, you just want to be solid. That's the goal. So I just want to like be as solid as I can with black. No nonsense, no silliness. Just just make the draw. If you can. And so here I play Rook D8 with the idea of playing for D5. Sorry, I'm watching the broadcast, but I guess I'll watch my Zoom screen instead. So yeah, the goal is to play for D5 here. I think maybe I should have traded on B5 first and then played D5, but I don't know if it really makes a difference, other than the resulting end game.
So
How are you feeling around here?
People are
30...
saying that I'm not upset enough. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. So like maybe you guys haven't watched enough, but I'm not happy. So
you're up 40 seconds, 45 seconds here. Do you feel good about that?
I mean the irony. I mean, there are a couple things, but first let's talk about the classical. What I realize is that basically the problem in the classical games is that I get this big time advantage, and then I use the time and try to play some perfect long clean line where there's no counterplay instead of just playing simple good moves. And then once I get low on time, I struggle to basically continue playing as though it's classical. And it's really weird to say this, of course, but like with 30-second increment, you have plenty of time to think. I mean, you're not in time pressure. But for me, it's like in this classical game, at some point, I just started playing like it was bullet, instead of using my time. And then Mishra found a couple of excellent moves to make the draw in the classical game. And it's just like, I can't seem to shift my mind. It's like as soon as I go into like this blitz mode, I forget there was a 30-second increment. I'm playing bullet and like I'm not making the best moves. And my opponents, of course, can find great moves. So like it's just really bad. I would also say though, the problem is with increment, even the short increment in the blitz, like I'm getting these situations where my instincts aren't good. And also here, I've got a great position, right? This is a great position. White has the split pawns on the C and the A file. You know, I swear I was maybe 9 years old. I remember a game I played at the Marshall Chess Club against the Grandmaster Ildar Ibragimov. I got the same structure. I had the split pawns, the C and A, and he kept improving. And I think eventually he beat me. So I mean, I'm doing great here, right? But of course, as we're about to see, there is going to be some interesting stuff. And almost a huge blunder too, which makes it even better.
Interesting stuff. B5.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but of course, I'm up so much time here. But the thing is, like, again, I'm playing this like it's 3-0 or it's 1-0 or something, and I'm not using my time. Like, I've got a minute edge, but the problem is if I use my time and get low, then I'm just going to blunder like I've done in just about every game for the last 3 months. So it's a very double-edged sword. Very double-edged sword. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are going to see the screen. You're going to see me like make this very near huge blunder in a second.
Knight C6.
No. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Knight C4 would be a blunder, but you're gonna see just how bad my brain is these days in a second.
Ooh, now there's some potential of the rook coming over here.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good.
Going for the repetition. You did say you were happy with the draw at the start of the game, but considering the pawn formation,
I'm gonna spoil because this will end soon. But watch this moment here, okay? Just watch this moment. Just watch the board. Watch the move that I nearly play here. I mean, this just shows how like my brain just doesn't function correctly.
Oh my god! Did you almost play Knight B8?
Just watch. Just watch. Just watch. I use my time here. I should be in the zone thinking, and then I decide I'm going to make the draw, and let's see what happens.
Maybe knight d8, trying to get to the e6 square.
I'm using all my time here. Yeah.
Knight a5.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, I very nearly play knight a5 and decide I'm going to lose the game. Like, I mean, my brain just doesn't function anymore. My brain just literally doesn't work.
It's not the clearest losing move I've ever seen. What was the biggest problem with it?
Well, knight a5, he goes rook e8, rook e7. I mean, maybe it's still a draw according to a computer, but like, I mean, I probably lose this position.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is just a garbage game. Yeah,
and now
so bad.
We get to game 4. You'll be playing with the white pieces. Usually Hammer and I do
a
bit of guessing for what's gonna be the first move.
I'm just gonna tell you this. This game is probably the worst game out of all the games that I've played here. Let's leave it at that.
This one that's coming.
This one that's coming up. Yes, this is easily the worst game I played here. Easily the worst game. Not even close.
Which game is second?
I mean, yesterday's game would be second because I mean I should have played rook b8, rook h8, but even d5. Like I also, you know, one thing that I think as I get a little bit older that's very tricky is for whatever reason when I mess up these games, they actually stay in my head a lot longer now. So like last night, I mean I slept terribly. I slept horribly, and like most of the night I was just thinking about d5. In the old days I could just go to sleep and whatever, but now like I was just like I spent the whole night thinking about it. It was even in my dreams. So yeah, really bad stuff. For sure. So that's that. I'm not gonna spoil it, you guys. But this game is gonna be really bad.
I'm really curious. I mean, how bad can it be? Hammer, what is your prediction?
I mean, okay, I'll give you guys a very slight spoiler. Okay, slight spoiler. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you the results of the game, but I am gonna tell you this. I got a position that is probably +5 or +6 in this game. And that's all I'm going to say about it, okay?
You're not looking too happy.
I mean, I'm just telling you that that's going to happen in this game. And then we'll go from there, okay? That's all you get.
Probably good news, I'm going to say. Because even if you're very unhappy with the game...
If it's before December 2024, probably that's true. After December 2024, I'm not so sure. But on the other hand, you can see some other players also have no ability to convert their games, like Fabiano, who, I mean, yesterday was insane. Today also was insane. I mean, so apparently people don't know how to play chess anymore and win winning positions. So, all right, let's go with the game. Okay, here we go.
We're far, same opening in the first Blitz game where Hikaru did get an advantage. Hikaru changes his move, even though c4 kind of worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I get a winning position every game. That doesn't mean anything because I can't convert a game to save my life. So, yeah, okay, so I play as rook d1. Of course, everybody remembers I had this like 30 or 40 game unbeaten streak in Gibraltar in like 20, and then in 2019, I think it was Vladislav Artemiev played something very similar to this against me, and he just cooked me hard. So I felt like playing like Artemiev. And that's why I play rook d1 in this position.
Once again, Abhimanyu gets way lower on time. This is the 4th Blitz game running that he's down a minute out of the opening.
Yeah, I mean, it's all nice and fine if I can actually keep my nerves together. But the problem is I don't do a good job of it anymore. And like that's ironically why, you know, my career, I've been thinking about my career a lot in recent times, just very reflective. And it's kind of ironic that my career, I started playing with no increment. Like in the old days in the 90s, you play with these analog clocks, none of this new age hippie technology to ruin the world. And so like you play with analog clocks, there's no increment. Half the time you don't even know how much time you have on the clock. And it's kind of funny that as my career heads towards its conclusion, I think I'm much better without increment than with increment. So it's like full circle in a way. Because like I get these big advantages, and I mean, if this were 3-0, I win every game in this match easily. Like this is easily a 4-0 wipeout if this is no increment. but again, people use their increment very well, and I'm just not. I don't handle the time great.
Well, here so far so good. You have 40 seconds on the
Yeah,
clock.
as usual, I'm up on time. It should be very good. Should move fast. Should win the game. Yeah, of course I
Normal way of
take.
playing this is to advance
Yeah.
the kingside pawns very aggressively, but first Hikaru tries to prevent some counterplay on the
Yeah,
other
I mean,
side.
of course, everybody remembers there was a position very similar to this in the Casablanca chess event in Africa last year as well, where Magus and I mean, there was a position that was set, and Magus and I went for this exact idea to attack on the king side. So, yeah. G4, of course. Yeah, see, if this is a 3-0 game, I'm already well on my way to victory because, like, I'm just rolling on the clock here. But it's not that simple.
I guess Abhimanyu is going to try to facilitate this pawn advance on the queen side. And then the question is, what is Hikaru going to do in the meantime on the opposite flank?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'm going for knight f3 here. Yeah, e5 is a good move here, by the way. E5 I think is a good move that wasn't played in this position. I was kind of worried about e5.
Really opens up towards the white king.
Yeah.
Are we feeling happy here with the white pieces?
I mean,
guess
I
so.
think in general I'm happy here because I'm going to get knight f3 and h4. At least I have some flow in the position. But like that's like the extent of it. But don't worry. I mean, this game's going to get much worse. It's going to get much worse.
Knight f3 is a big threat over here on the queen and rook. F6 being recommended, but that is massively weakening around the black king.
Yeah, I mean, he plays it, of course. It's a good move.
Do you agree that Mishra upped his level a lot in the Blitz portion of the match?
I mean, it's hard to judge. Obviously, I was playing a lot of like kind of I don't know if dubious is the right word, but I wasn't playing mainline theory. So there's some argument to be said that because of that, it's a lot easier to just play. I think that probably overall, I mean, I think I underestimated him in Blitz a little bit. I mean, I do know that he has that random account on chess.com where he's hiding under an IM title, even though he's a GM. But nonetheless, I have I think I underestimated him quite a bit. And that's why in these final two Blitz games, I was I was definitely much more focused in a way. Like this game, you can tell like I'm trying to be much more serious about it. But I mean, again, this is still going to get very bad. I mean, I think, for me, though, like he plays rook d6, right? Huge blunder, of course.
Really liking, well, even before the blunder, I thought your position is quite good.
Yeah, of course. Don't worry. I'm going to take on f6 because like normally I should be a good player. So I take, and now let's get ready for the clown fiesta. Don't worry, it's coming very soon, you guys.
No way for the black king to hide in the corner with this bishop pointing towards it. So the king is probably going to have to move into the center.
Yeah, no worries. It goes king f8, of course. I mean, the one thing I will say, he did defend very well, like especially in the classical games. Like the second game today, like he was down to seconds. He was down to 30 seconds for less on every move, and he found some very, very good moves. So I do give him a lot of credit on that front. Yeah, so we get rook d7, of course. Yeah, of course. Oh, knight e4 is winning here? Really?
Engine likes moving the knight into f6.
I thought about this, but I didn't play it. Huh.
So
Pawn push in the center gets a question mark, but the best line that was being recommended was for Abhimanyu to give up a rook for a knight.
True. Okay. But don't worry, this gets better.
Yeah. Hikaru sacrifices a pawn through the center. If that pawn
look
captured,
at this position. I have a minute and a half against 6 seconds. I'm winning on the clock, and I'm winning on the board.
Bishop is trapped.
Sure, but I mean, look at this position. I have a minute and a half against 6 seconds here. Like, Yeah, it's just I'm almost grossed out trying to watch this. I mean, really, I'm just grossed out.
I still think Hikaru won for what it's worth, the audience.
I think so too, but I wonder how. I mean, maybe
What is this? This is
maybe
plus
we're
5.
gonna go
Queen
to
G2.
Armageddon. Who freaking
Queen
knows,
G2.
right?
Queen G2, of course. Queen G2.
No, but also knight d5 is even good.
I mean,
have
I
no
considered
idea what that
95. I
does.
considered 95 too, of course. I didn't play that, obviously. Obviously, I didn't do that. Like,
No, but trading when you're up a piece makes some sense, no?
yeah, but I mean, it's tricky because the bishop on A1 is kind of out of the game. And it's like it's not an active bishop.
Yeah, true. Do we try and no, we can't really do that. He did succeed in blockade the position pretty well.
Yeah.
Maybe rook d6 at some point, just to get the knight to e5.
Don't worry, this gets better. This gets better.
I'm very curious what's gonna happen based on what you've been telling us.
I mean, Mishra has no time at all.
Oh, I could just take. I'm such an idiot. This just gets worse and worse.
He gets double exclam.
No, but I can just play Queen C4 and I'm winning here. What the heck? Oh my gosh, so bad. I can just take and go King G2. What's wrong with me?
C4 check, king up. Oh gosh. Now these pawns are looking kind of dangerous.
Yeah, now he blunders and I win the game. Like such garbage, such garbage.
Sacrificing the bishop, the 2 pawns, you cannot keep both of them at bay. One diverts the king and the other becomes a queen. And Hikaru wins the match.
And there's the handshake. Hikaru is through to the semifinals. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I'm not happy. Like I mean, you guys let me like put on a big smile, right? I'm not happy. Like this is just terrible.
Well, you don't have to smile, Hikaru. We'll do that for you. And I think it's very clear that the classical portion and also the blitz portion, this match was a lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like it's almost a mirror of the match I played against Sindarov in freestyle. Almost exactly a mirror. I mean, okay, the blitz was a little bit different, but I mean, from the standpoint that was I guess no, actually no. The second game against Sindarov, he defended very well in classical. I forgot when I had the 2 bishops, but basically it's very reminiscent where like I was really pressing hard in the slow games. And then I didn't win in at least one of them, which I should have won. And the same thing happened here. And then, I mean, of course, I got the miracle in the blitz. I mean, to that second blitz game, which I should have lost. I was completely cooked. But you know, like I said, at some point, like the luck has to even out. I mean, if you're winning every game, I mean, it's only fair that at some point your opponent doesn't get lucky. So
Hikaru,
yeah,
do
like,
you know who you're playing tomorrow?
I don't know who I'm playing. I have no idea.
Okay, because Dominguez and Wesley so are about to play an Armageddon game. I don't know if you want to stick around for that.
No, I have my game, so I'm going to go do my recap before I get even more annoyed. And I don't mean that like people are saying like Oscar whatever. Like I said it in Germany, I've said it after yesterday too. It's the same thing. Like there are types of positions which are messy and complex where you're winning, and there are positions where you're just winning, and it should be technical by the book, and you should win them every single time. And it seems like every game I'm messing up the ones that I should win that should be by the book. So like I'm not happy. I'm not happy with my play. And I would also say the fact that I'm winning and it's bringing me no joy is also like I don't want to say that certain word, but it also puts that other thought back into my mind a lot. For sure, because it's just like if I'm playing and I'm not enjoying it, then what am I even doing? So yeah, there you guys go. That's my 2 seconds. Yeah.
Well, Hikaru, I think we both understand that you're not happy with the way things went, but you are through to the semifinals. So thank you for stopping by. This was an interesting, definitely a fun experience, and best of luck for
tomorrow. Yeah, I mean it's good content since I won, but like yeah, I guess I play Wesley or Lenier.
Yeah, the winner there.
Yeah, no, I mean it's yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now I just want to do my recap, get out and enjoy some fresh air and just like not even think about chess because it's like I swear in the last like 3 months I've seen stuff that I really never thought I would see, at least in my own games. And I've seen it a lot in my games. So yeah. Yeah, it's what it is. So I'm gonna go do my recap. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know what happened to the Armageddon game and everything, but yeah, it's just
Well,
life.
we're going to be following it here, so people don't go anywhere. We will be watching that. Hikaru, thank you very much. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. And yeah, of course I'll do the recap and I'll see everybody tomorrow. So hope you guys enjoyed and have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.